So we're going to start with kidney and urinary bladder meridian line today. So we're working mainly through the back line of the body along either side of the spine, but also up the quads and the inner leg line. So from the big toe up into the groin and into the kidney area. So midway kind of around the back of the body. If you just bring your hands to the back, you'll feel that's where the kidneys are in the back of the waist. So we want to kind of keep our mind and awareness into that point as we're working today, just to help really flush through. So you can just rest your hands down. We're going to come into butterfly to begin with. So you might want to use some cushions or some bricks either side of your knees. I'm going to come to a reclined position to begin with. So if you just come into the middle of your mat, and bring your feet about hip width apart and then roll yourself down to the floor. You might want a blanket underneath your head just to add a bit of extra support. And then bring soles of the feet together and let the knees drop apart. You can work with the bricks right up against the hips or underneath the knees if that gives you any extra support that might help. Feel free to use that. And if you wanted to work a little bit deeper, just moving any props out of the way. You can also use cushions or a bolster if you have one. But without the support, we're going to be working a little bit deeper into the groin. So this one we're working the inner leg line and opening up the pelvis as well. So just start to find a comfortable position. You can rest your hands either onto the belly, out to the side, or it feels quite nice to rest the arms above the head. So you've got a really nice opening in the whole front of the body. You can bend into the elbows, just resting back to the hands, down to the floor. And then closing down through the eyes, let your breath start to come into the belly. So throughout practice today, you can bring more of the awareness into abdominal breathing, so deep belly breaths. And this is just working to send the energy of apana downward. So apana vayu is one of the winds in the body, the energies that moves all of the toxicity, any waste, down and out. It's to do with elimination. It works in the reproductive system, especially in women. And it's also the energy of elimination and release and letting go. So when we're working into the kidney meridian line, it's targeting that element of fear in the body. If we're out of balance, we often experience high levels of fear in multiple ways. This could just be simple fear of not doing well, or fear of going the wrong way when we kind of step out into a new path or we're heading in a new direction. It could be more phobias and deeper set fears, or just small belief systems that we've put into place that create fear-based thinking. And when we start to really clear through the kidney meridian line and work on that elimination, that energy of downward movement, we really start to see fear not having such of a deep grip on the mind, on the body. And when we release that stagnation of fear, we expand into ourselves. We're not holding, paralyzed, or fear of doing something. We can be more in flow. So this is why the kidneys are linked into the water element. And it's the same thing. When a river's not flowing, it's stagnant. And when it's powerful, it bursts through everything. It just goes to exactly where it needs to be, and it follows the land, it follows the universe where it needs to go. And when we're holding back, we're not allowing ourselves to stay in flow, we're then in fear, we're in that stagnant energy. So just take a few moments to notice in your physical body if there's any points of resistance or holding. If there's anywhere that you can feel a sensation of stagnation or blockage. And maybe just for the last 2.5 minutes, find a bit more spaciousness into the pose, whether that's taking the feet further away, or it might be to support yourself with some cushions to help the body relax a little bit more. Or if you wanted to increase the potency of the shape, you can come to a seated position and let yourself fold over. So you're coming into a seated butterfly. We're just here for another 2.5 minutes. Notice if there's anywhere in the mind and the emotions that you can feel a bit more of a letting go, of a releasing and surrendering. When we surrender, when we release and let go, that's when we start to feel more flow come into the mind, come into our lives. And we also feel this in the body as well. Not so much tension or restriction. So we're just gently stressing the ligaments through the groin, through the inner leg line, and working to relieve any built up tension, whether this is mental or physical, in the groin area, which is quite often a place that we find that we hold a lot of stored emotions around the hips. I'm just taking the last 3 rounds of breath here. I'm going to come out of butterfly very slowly and carefully. So just take your time to either bring your hands to the sides of the thighs and use your hands to bring your knees up to center, rolling the feet to the floor, and then walking the feet about as wide as your hips, and just pause in a semi-supine position. Notice how it feels to come into a more neutral position, the legs, the spine. Notice how the body feels. And then if there's any movement that might feel nice, maybe some knee sway side to side to stretch the hips and the front of the thigh, you can do that, or bring the knees into the chest. Maybe some hip circles might feel nice, just taking any movements for the last 30 seconds. Finish your last round of breath here, and then we can make our way onto the side before pressing ourselves up to a squat position. So we're not going to stay in a squat for too long, but you might want to use some props. So you could either use 2 blocks to sit onto. So you're bringing your sit bones down, and then your feet can go a little bit further forward or closer in, and you can work to lengthen the spine up and bring the elbows on the inside of the knees, hands to prayer, to push the knees open. We're just working a little bit longer into this inner leg line. If that feels okay for you and you wanted to lift up, you can also fold forward. This is a bit of a deeper stretch into the groin, and you're also going to get a bit more of a stretch in the spine. If it feels more comfortable to support your back against the wall, bring yourself close up to a wall space, and then you can lean back and really allow the knees to push apart so that you're finding more space into the groin. And then breathe down into the belly. We're just here for about 1.5 minutes, so just the last minute left. Try to make space in the pelvis by really pushing down into the feet and energizing up into the head. And then the breath will start to move a bit deeper into the tissues around the pelvis as you breathe deeply into the belly. Just taking the last 3 rounds of breath here. And then you can release the hands down to the floor and either walk yourself into all fours, or you can tip yourself up to stretch out the legs and come into a forward fold position. Just taking a little rebound in between, moving any props out to the side. So either all fours or forward fold, taking any movements that feel nice. Nice. Just take one more breath where you are. And then we can bring ourselves down to all fours if you're not there already. And come towards the top end of your mat, so a little bit closer towards the top. We're moving into saddle from here, so you might want to take some extra props. So I'll show you the most intense version. You want your heels just on the outside edge of your hip, and sit bones are down onto the floor, and then you can work to bring yourself either down onto your elbows or down to the floor. So really deeply stretching the front line of the body from the quads up into the hip flexor, and we're also getting a stretch through the spine as we recline here. So that's your first option. If that's a bit too intense, you can always bring yourself onto some blocks or a blanket and work to just lean back into the hands or come down onto forearms. Maybe it might feel more comfortable to use a bolster or a long pillow. So you can just prop yourself up with some cushions behind you. So it kind of goes in an incline up, and then you can lean back into that, which is really nice. You want to just rest your tailbone to the end and lean back to rest over. So find whichever variation feels most comfortable, but you're getting the deepest stretch that you can without going into any pain or constriction. And then we're here for around 3 minutes. If you need to prop up the ankles, grab any blankets, cushions, that might help. And if that's always too strong, you can come to your front. So you're laying down on your belly and holding the feet with both hands. So breathing again into the belly, allow the whole front line of your body to expand as you inhale. And feel this sensation of energy moving down towards the earth as you exhale. That sensation of deep release and deep surrender. Just coming through the last minute. So if you feel that you need to modify or adjust or come out, always let yourself come out very slowly, carefully, and take your time. But we'll just here for about another 45 seconds. Nice. So coming out of the shape, take your time. We want to gently touch into chest, prop yourself up onto your elbows. Take an inhale and lift yourself up to come to a seated position. So you can come up onto your all fours. And then bring your legs around in front and just take a moment to stretch the legs out in front of you. You can roll the feet side to side or drum the legs on the floor, or it might feel nice to take some knee space side to side. Just take a moment to let your legs come back into length. Just feel any changes around the thigh, around the hip flexor, and the lower belly. So from here, we're going to move into Sphinx. So just allowing yourself to come down onto your belly. You can move any props out to the side. So taking the most basic variation, you can have your forearms stacked and your forehead resting down to the floor. If you wanted to add a bit of support, roll a blanket or a pillow underneath the chest, just where the rib cage starts to split, and then you can bring your elbows further forward. That's a really nice one to rest the neck and shoulders if you work at a desk or if you drive a lot. You can also rest your head into your hands or rest a prayer to your third eye. So you've got a bit of support for the neck and shoulders. Otherwise, we're working with forearms down to the floor and elbows just slightly further forward of the shoulders. If you wanted to increase the potency in the back, you can have the feet either together, so the legs are straight, or you can bend the knees. So this is just increasing that bend into your lower back and putting a bit more pressure into the kidney area themselves. This will help to flush them through a little bit deeper. If that's a bit too intense, you can take the feet as wide as your mat, so they're more into a V shape. This creates a bit of a softening in the lower back. So just here for another 2.5 minutes. So finding whichever position feels most comfortable, and let yourself just rest, but finding a spaciousness into the spine, into the kidney area. So you almost feel like you're lengthening out of your spine to the crown of the head and opening up a space in the lower back, the back of the waist and the lower back. It's just coming through the last 30 seconds. If you've taken any props or used anything to support you, just moving that out to the side, and you can take your arms either into a cactus shape or palms together, forehead down to the palms or to the floor. And you can either rest here or bend one knee up towards the elbow if that helps to release your lower back. Just pausing here, relaxing the spine and breathing into that kidney area. So as you breathe in, imagining that the back of the waist is inflating and opening. Allowing the breath to really flush through the kidneys. So from here, you can literally just roll yourself over onto your back. So we're going to come into a twist from here. So one knee recline twist. So if you make your way over onto your backs and make yourself take up a nice big bit of space through the spine, so the shoulder blades are nice and wide and spread into the earth. We're going to bring the left foot to the floor, right knee comes into the chest. Give that a good squeeze down towards the body and lengthen the neck, so touch into chest, feel spaciousness across the heart space. Right arm comes out to the side, plant down through the hand, and on your exhale, twist over to the left. Use your left hand to guide the leg across. So you can either use it as a support or you can grab a pillow or cushion that's going to help your leg to feel rested. Or you can let all of the weight of that right leg come to the floor, towards the floor, and use the left hand for a little bit of stability and added weight. Make sure both shoulder blades are down onto the floor. And if they're not, grab a blanket or something to prop up the shoulder. So we're here for 2 minutes each side. You can look across to the right shoulder if that feels nice on your neck. Just going to bring the twist a little bit higher up the body. So this is turning more through the lower back. So we're targeting into the kidney area in the twist, helping to physically wring out the organs. We'll go next, inhale, turn the gaze back through to center and take your time to slowly bring yourself back to your back. Taking your right leg out long. Pause for a moment as you re-center and let the spine settle. Take any props that you are using over to the opposite side and then bring the left knee into the chest. You can stretch your right leg out long. Left arm goes out to the side, opening into the left side chest. Keep the knee about in line with the hip and then guide the leg across with the right hand to the right side body. Plant down through the shoulder blades and then you can turn to look over your left shoulder. And just breathe here into the belly. Feel the twist happening more so through the lower back. Let's take for 3 minutes, 2 minutes. Just taking the last round of breath here. And on your next inhale, turn your head back through to center, rolling onto your back, releasing your legs out to the floor, releasing the arms. Just take a moment in a mini Shavasana. Pause in here. That deep sensation of groundedness, of steadiness in the mind. This really help us to assimilate what's going on in the mind, help us to make sense of what's going on in the world around us. That sensation of equilibrium in the mind and the body. So when you're ready, you can either bring your knees into the chest and hug it in, or roll your feet side to side, and then bring your feet to the floor, sway knees side to side. And we're going to make our way up to a seat. So when you're ready, just roll into your side and come up to a comfortable seat. Just moving any props out to the side. We're coming into a half dragonfly from here. So you want to take your left leg out and your right foot's going on the inside of your left thigh. You might want to use a little bit of extra padding for the knee. If it's lifting up really high, you can use that. And we're turning away from the bent leg. So twisting the body towards your extended leg. And you want to feel that the chest is angling towards that extended leg. You can take an inhale here, lengthen up through the spine. And as you exhale, beginning to fold forward. You can come down into the stretch as deep as feels comfortable. So either just rolling the back down and letting the head hang. This is acting as a nice heavy weight to pull the spine. So we're going to be stretching those meridian lines that run down either side of the spine. And the more that we're folding into the shape, the deeper of a compression we're putting onto the groin on the right side. So the right leg is opening out and we're working that inner leg line still. So just pausing here. We're here for about 2 minutes each side. See if there's anywhere that you can release a sensation of control and just drop into the pose a little bit deeper, just for the last minute or so. So taking a last round of breath on this side. With your next inhale, slowly allow yourself to come back up to a lifted position. Just pause in the center, hands can rest on the thighs, fall to the floor. Just pause here. Let your head and your heart come back over your hips. And then we can go to the opposite side. So gently taking your right leg out, and we're going to switch over. So the left leg is now coming into the inside of the right thigh. So changing, moving any props over that you might need to. You want to sort of shift that left knee back so you feel that it's coming open more into the groin, and then turn your body to face towards that right leg. Find a nice length through the spine as you inhale. And as you exhale, padding yourself out, coming into that forward fold position. Feeling into this side, just noticing how far you want to go in. Where is your first edge? Just pause and meet your first edge, wherever it is. And then after a few rounds of breath, once you feel that the body is safe in the position, you might like to rest a bit deeper. So letting the head go, relaxing through the arms. Again, if there's anywhere in the body that you can feel a bit more of a rested sensation or a letting go, allow yourself to move into that space and let go. Just for the last minute. Create more spaciousness in your mind, in your body, in your life, by allowing yourself to let go. Just finish that last round of breath that you're on. And with your next inhale, gently guide yourself back up to the center. Pause in center, resting hands onto thighs or the floor. Just allow yourself to come back into that more balanced position with head and heart over hips. Guiding the left knee up and taking the legs out long. We're going to move into the last shape, which is a forward fold. So caterpillar. We can work with some support underneath the knees if that feels nice, especially if you've got tight hamstrings. It's quite nice to bring a rolled up blanket underneath the knees, or you can work with a bolster or some cushions, just making sure that the heels are down on the floor. And then if you wanted to add a bit more of a stretch into the back of the waist, you can bring like a pillow or something to rest onto the belly, so you get more of a curvature here. If that feels nice to rest over, you can work from here. If you feel that you wanted to rest your forehead, you can bring the bolster or pillows towards the legs and rest. If it's more of a deeper stretch and you feel that you're getting more out of the stretch by letting the head be your weight to stretch the spine, then just letting your head guide down towards the floor so you get that real curve in the spine. We're going to be here for around 4 minutes, so just find whatever feels best for you to rest into. So this is the ultimate space of coming inward, allowing the body to really drop into the support of the earth. So that deep connection of being supported by the earth beneath you and feeling able to let go and surrender into it because of that held space. So by you holding space for yourself, it enables you to really allow yourself to feel what's coming up, to feel that sensation of grounding and support. and to come to a really authentic place with yourself, because you've held space and because it's a safe space. So just coming through the last minute and a half, is there anywhere that you can really let yourself surrender into more? Any areas that are still holding or resisting? Any areas that you could find a little bit more spaciousness into just for the last minute? So finish the round of breath that you're on and take your time to gently unravel the spine, come up to a lifted position. You can use your hands to help lift you up. Again, bring the head and the heart over the hips and just pause here. Feel that sensation of downward moving energy. Very deeply grounding and calming sensation. And forward folding. And then when you're ready, we're going to make our way into Shavasana from here. So if you wanted to take any extra support or props, it might be nice to put a blanket underneath your head. Maybe some cushions or a bolster underneath the knee joints. And let yourself take up a nice big bit of space, maybe even some a cloth or pillow over the eyes to help you go into a deep space of relaxation. So when you get down, just finding a nice length through the arms, the legs, the spine. Take up as much space on your mat. Take a deep breath into the belly. And as you exhale, feel that sensation of your body's weight dropping into the floor. So you inhale a sensation of lightness, deep belly breath. And exhale, feel the whole of your body sinking into a sensation of heaviness and support. Inhale lightness, expansion. Exhale, heaviness and surrender. Deep support. Just go on breathing in that way for about the next minute. Just releasing the focus of the breath and allow yourself to completely rest. No need to think or do, just to rest here. Let yourself relax. Allow your body to feel supported. Allow your mind to stay present and aware in a space of relaxation. Just allow yourself to slowly start to come back into the space. Just deepening your breath in and out. Begin to wiggle the fingers and toes as you breathe more deeper into the rest of the body. And then when you're ready, you can slowly start to make some bigger movements, whether that's stretching or bringing the knees to the chest or the feet to the floor. Making any movements that feel good for your body. And then when you're ready, just roll into a side and pause in on your side. Make a pillow with the arm if you haven't already got a pillow there. Just pause here on your side. Slowly we'll make our way up to a seated position. Coming into the last 10 minutes of breath and meditation. So find a comfortable seat where you're well propped up, your hips are higher than your knees, and you've got anything else that you might need to support you. Nice. So we're just going to finish with a last little bit of the practice with alternate nostril breathing, and also just a small Kriya meditation to finish. So we'll start with closing off the left nostril as we exhale the breath out, and then we'll close the right. We'll inhale through the left, we'll exhale through the left, and then we'll inhale, exhale through the right, and then exhale. We'll move side to side. So we can just begin by bringing either the fingers of the index and the middle finger to the third eye, or you can tuck them under so it's a little bit more comfortable for the face, whatever feels most comfortable for you. And then take either the thumb and the ring finger either side, whichever hand feels most comfortable, to the nostrils. So don't close the nostrils yet, just take a normal inhale. Close your left nostril and exhale through the right. Close the right, inhale through the left. Exhale left side. Close, inhale right. Exhale right side. Close, inhale left. Exhale left. Close, inhale right. Exhale right. Close, inhale left. Exhale left. Close, inhale right. So just moving in this way, exhaling through the right side. We're closing, inhaling, and then exhaling through the left. So keep moving through that practice. Inhale, exhaling each side. And just paying attention to which nostril feels more open, more clear. The right nostril is the left brain, so it's more logical, more active. It's our masculine energies. And the left side nostril, which is the right brain, is with our yin side, or feminine essence, so more passive. Just tune into which nostril feels more open, more clear. We want to be working more towards the yin as we go later into the day, and we're coming more into that passivity, that relaxation. But here we're just working to balance each side of the body, so we're balancing the yin and the yang, and finding that midpoint, that space of complete centeredness, complete grounding. And we're working to really feel both sides of the body are in harmony. When each is flowing in an easy way, we're just doing another 3 rounds. We find that we can make choices much more easily because we're staying in that flow, we're staying in equilibrium, both sides, masculine, feminine. and feeling very grounded and very calm. And so once you've finished just one more round, so both sides, you can release the breath. And just rest whenever you've finished with the hands onto the thighs. Take a moment to really tune into how the breath made the mind feel, how the body feels. Deep sensation of groundedness and balance. And moving us into our last segment of the class, just focusing into now the third eye point. So bringing the attention a little bit higher up into the third eye, in between the eyebrows or in the middle of the forehead, this kind of region here. And keeping the eyes closed, just start to tilt the gaze up into this space. So collecting in the midbrain. So we want to start to begin to collect all negative thought forms, belief systems, any fears, doubts, worries, any past situations that have caused a negative impact in our lives, to collect here in this midbrain. So you can maybe even start to visualize it as a darker matter or energy gravitating like a magnet being pulled into the third eye, midbrain. And on our next inhale, we'll see this dark energy moving from the third eye point down the spine all the way to the pelvic floor. And when you get to the pelvic floor, pause and hold the breath in. Or a slight lift of the pelvic floor as you gather and hold all of the energy here. And then once you feel that it's ready to, you can exhale through the nose and feel the pelvic floor release. Feel all this dark, heavy, dense energy and waste moving out of the end of the spine into the earth. Bring your awareness then back up to the third eye point. And as you inhale, imagine a magnet pulling down the spine all the way to the pelvic floor. Full breath in takes you all the way to the end of the spine into the pelvic floor. Hold the breath, gentle application of root lock, Mulabandha. Gather and hold this energy here. And once you feel that you can release and let go, release the pelvic floor and feel this energy moving down into the earth. And just keep repeating that cycle. So it's back up to the third eye, collect and pull down with your inhale, hold the breath in. And when you need to exhale, release and let go. We're really working on that sensation of elimination of that downward moving energy. And whatever we don't use, whatever is not anything serving us, we can then let it go. And when we release and let go, we create that shift, we create that sensation of change and movement by just our simple fact of us letting go creates a shift and a ripple effect in the world around us. And by us creating more space internally for ourselves, we create more space for something that is aligned, that is of a positive and a higher vibration to then enter into our lives, into our minds, our bodies. And whatever we don't need can be then utilized by the world around us. So one man's trash is another man's treasure is such a key quote here for that importance of letting go, of finding elimination and release. And when we release, we then offer back out into the universe whatever it is that we don't need to act as a fertilizer deep into the ground, to come up for somebody else in another place, for them to use as something more positive. So we'll just take another 3 more rounds of that cycle of your in and exhales. Take your time, no need to rush. You may feel a sensation of lightness entering the body and mind as you do this Kriya. Just taking the time to finish the last round if you haven't already. And once you have finished, just allow your mind to rest at the base of the spine, down into the pelvic floor, and that feeling of elimination, of release, move down into a seat of grounding. Allow yourself to bathe in the feeling of complete steadiness, calm, rest and surrender as you feel that safety and from the grounding beneath you. And we find that clarity, that release from the mind. We feel complete calmness in the rest of the body. And we've made space from all the negativity, the waste that we don't need, and we allow ourselves to clear free from it. We create so much more space for positive energy and change to happen in our lives. When you're ready, bring your hands into Anjali Mudra, just resting thumbs onto the heart space, connect into the breath in the heart and belly. Exhale to bow your head down to your heart, offering gratitude to your body. May we know the importance of letting go, of releasing. Allow us to see the fruits of that release, of that surrender, and the new positive things that make its way into our lives. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone.